All right, guys. Well, as much as we have our 80s music going and I've got my scrunchie in my hair, my side ponytail, we are rocking out this new icon theme this year. So thank you so much for being here. This is the Why Virtual Seesaw Stations when we are going back face to face. My name is Shauna Pierce, and I'm going to kind of walk you through how we can create some rotation stations in Seesaw, because the fact is Seesaw and Canvas are still going to be an intricate part of our learning. And Seesaw is a great tool, especially for our littles, for video recording, for linking, and allowing them to kind of stay in one place. And so if you can, I would love for you to open up another window so you can have your Seesaw account open. I'm going to share with you all the templates that I'm going to show you and show you how you can edit and change that. And then together, we're just going to walk through step by step how to build a rotation. And so hopefully you have some ideas of how you can use this. I know our math block is now 120 minutes. And so part of that time is 65 minutes of small group. And so there are several stations that students will be working through. This could be a way that we kind of navigate them through those stations. For literacy, we'll also have small groups. Stations can also just be used for, I'm finished, what do I do now? And so let me go ahead and show you what it might look like just kind of from a student view, and I'll show you the template that we're going to be using. So you're going to see there's several things. I'm going to give you the icons as well. And so I'm going to share this with you in just a second, but I want to walk you through kind of what has been created and how we can use that. And then after a few minutes, I'll share this with you, show you how to edit, and then we'll just start building from scratch. So super glad you're here. If you have questions at any time, feel free to put them in the chat. This session is being recorded, so if you need to reference it later, you certainly can do that. I also want to just put a shout out to the digital learning team, because they've also created several pathways that you can walk through with Seesaw. So if you're brand new to Seesaw and this seems super overwhelming, if you want to jump in on one of those pathways, it goes through the basics, and this is also included as one of the sections in that pathway. So that's available for you as well. So if this is my kind of student view of what a station could look like, and so you can see all of these little blanks in just a minute. This is what we're going to build from. And so we have put something into all of the little blanks. So I have my groups. I can do days of the week. We could change these to times of the day. We could change this to station 1, 2, 3, 4, however you see fit. And this is the template that we're going to use today. But if there is a template that you've already created in a Google slide, I'll show you how to capture a picture or an image, and we can set that as the background. So if you want different fonts or colors, or you've already set up something, we can easily import that into Seesaw. And so if I'm a student, I'm going to find out what my group is. And so when I click on groups, it's going to take me to a page where I can see I'm going to be mini today. And so I can see that I'm in group 1. And so I'm going to follow along with the course that group 1 shows. And so I have my return home button, which is always going to take me back to our schedule. So I know if today's Monday, or if this is my first station, this is the time where I just get to do my independent reading. So I'm going to grab a book and read until it's time to go to the next station. So my next station is an actual Seesaw activity that's not in this. It's going to take me out to the other Seesaw activity that my teacher wants me to do. So when I click on that link, it's going to open up another page. You can see my window up here. It's going to open up into another activity. And then I'm going to be able to work on this activity here. So I'm going to click on add my response. And this is my teacher sample account. So students would not have to find their name. It would open up for them automatically. And then I will be able to walk through this activity. So this one is all about air and weather. I can jump down to my activity, move and do my assignment. I'm just going to randomly pick. I'm not really paying attention just for the sake of time. And then when I'm finished, I will just save that, and then my teacher will get my response. And so I'm going to jump back over. I'm just moving from tab to tab. I'm going to jump back over to my rotation station, and now it's time for me to do some Imagine Literacy. So this link just takes me to ReadyHub, so I can sign on and then be able to find Imagine Literacy. The last one is my teacher-led. So even though I'm going to be with my teacher has created something for me to do alongside them. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on that link. So when I get to the teacher-led station, it's ready to go. And so we'll talk about how we can build this as well. And so that I have now completed all my stations for that week. And so then I'm just going to turn in and submit my work. So some of our stations will be able to just be a placeholder, like the independent reading. That's something that I have to tangibly go and get. Some of our stations might be just links that are embedded in this presentation, or I want them to go to another website. So today, our goal is just to build from scratch. And so I see one of our questions, it says, can we integrate Seesaw to Canvas or display a page created on Seesaw in Canvas? So I know on Canvas, Seesaw is still a separate platform, but we can make a link that will then open up into Seesaw. So it's not going to stay inside Canvas. It is going to open up to another tab. So they have not fixed that problem just yet. Great question. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to get off of this and let me share this with you so you can go ahead and open up. So Chelsea Cody on Digital Learning is the one that has created all of our backgrounds in Canva, and she generously shares the link to the stations. And so when I share this link to you, I'm going to kind of walk you through how you can add or change some of the titles to the descriptions of the stations. So when I click on my stations design link, so how do we sign up for Seesaw? Are you new to the district? Okay. Martine, would you be able, I'm not sure if you're in here, would you be able to answer that question? Because I believe it's through the Canvas, and that's something that the district sets up for us. So she might be in another chat, so I'll make sure we get that answered before we leave.
I can touch on it just a bit because I'm the admin for our campus.
Perfect.
If you teach pre-K through second on your campus, your account will somewhat automatically be created by the district, and they will assign your students to you through Skyward. And so it'll be somewhat set up for you. If you're not teaching one of those grades, your campus Seesaw administrator can still add you. You'd want to just create, and generally you will sign in using your Google. When you go to sign in using Google, because it's kind of all linked there through our Active Directory. So happy to answer more questions later, but that's just kind of a general thing. And if you're new to the district, you may not have it quite yet, but it will be there by next week. I'm positive.
Yeah. And you can still save this link, and then once you open it, you can have it for your account too. So this is just going to take you, I want to use this template, and so it's just going to open up the Canva. platform that Chelsea worked in. And so I just kind of want to show you what that looks like. And so here is where I have all my station rotations. If I wanted to add something to this, I can just click this add button. And so some of the icons that I have also created are going to be in what I've shared with you. So this is just her original work. So I can change backgrounds, or if I don't want it to say small group, I can go ahead and edit that here, and it's not going to mess up her template. This will just be yours. And so then what you would do is just take a screenshot of this and then put that into Canvas. And so that's what this link down here, if you want to edit any of the template, you can do that through this. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and share this activity. And so let me get the teacher link and put it in the chat. And so you have that. So when you open it, I'm going to just walk alongside you and open it up as well. So here is what it will look like when you are in your Seesaw. So what you want to do is we're going to click on Save Activity. And then it should pop up in your activity library. And so it should be the very first thing. So I could automatically assign it, but that means that it is how it is. But so what I want to do is I'm going to click on that, and I want to make a copy and edit. So this second option here where it says copy and edit activity. And then I'm just going to put practice. And I'm not going to worry about directions. You would add your own directions for your students, and we can come back to that. And so once I change my title, now I'm just going to click on my template, and then I want to start making some changes. So you'll notice in what I have shared with you, this is what you just saw me present, and it links to the first few slides. If you want to start on slide 4, or what we could do is we can move these things to the bottom. I think I'll do that. So I'm going to just drag this to the bottom so I have it, but I want to start. And that will change my links when we drag. So keep that in mind. But that way I'm starting with just a blank template. Okay. And so the icons that we can use are look like this. And so you can see that I've actually added the names of for the math curriculum. They're going with the acronym BRIGHT, which stands for Basic Facts. They have I just lost the name. I think it's the teacher table, review, estimation, problem solving, and then technology is the T. And so I tried to make those and include those. If you want to build this for your math stations, you can do that. And so let me go ahead and also put in the chat. These are just some websites that show you how to get a screenshot using your snipping tool if you're either on a Chromebook, a PC, or a Mac. And so I'm working with a Mac, but I know not everybody has that. And so if you're not sure how to just crop an image or get an image, here's some resources that can help you with that. And so first, I'm just going to grab, with Seesaw, we have to use our snipping tool in order to grab an image. We can't right click and copy. For whatever reason, we have to use those shortcuts. And so I'm going to go ahead and get my group set up. So I'm going to copy that, click on my first slide, and then paste it. It's going to make it large, so I am going to have to shrink it down. What I recommend, because there's going to be a lot of links on here, is to make it small enough to where we have an option for a link here. That way everything stays in that box. If that bothers you and you want it to fit the box, it is yours to create. So you do it how you see fit. So I'm just going to grab my groups real quick. So let me go back here and grab group 2. So I'm using my snipping tool to get that. And then I can, for some reason, it will let me do the control paste, but I have to use my snipping tool to grab the picture. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to make this super beautiful. Just going to grab what we need. So if you have names for your groups, you can go to Canva and edit those titles and put your names in as well. Okay, so once I have my group set up here, I want to link it to the group page so they know what group they are in. And so on group 1, I'm going to click on my image, and then you'll see the 3 dots, and then I want to link, and then I'm going to link to page 2. And so once I click on page 2, then I'll be able to see my group. So I would need these pictures up there as well. So I'm only going to do group 1 just for the sake of time. And so this is my chart. So if my kids forget which group they're in, they'll be able to look at this chart. So here I'm going to just add a text box. And so I'm going to just add in a few names. And I can, if I want to change the color, I can do that. Once I get the size that I like, and I can change the style and font, I'm going to just duplicate that and then move it down. So I'm not having to recreate all the colors and size every time. And then I can just edit. That one. And we'll go with one. Okay, so I want to also create a link that's always going to get me back to my station rotation. And so on our icons, we have a home button. So I'm going to make a copy of this. For my little ones, I may just have a particular image. Like if I have just the house, I like this one because it has the words and the icon. So then I'm going to click on my page that I want to put the image. So I'm going to have my return home. And then I would recommend whenever you have a button like this, you always want to keep it in the same place. That way students can go back or kind of know how to search and what to look for. So then I'm going to now link this by going to link to page 1. And then I don't want students to be able to move this or edit it. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this. I'm going to choose lock all because it will lock the image and the size. And then you'll probably, once you're finished, you'll probably want to go ahead and lock all of your other things as well, just so students don't accidentally delete something. So now I can click on my return home and I'm ready to continue building my schedule. And so for the top, that is totally your choice. I'm going to just go with a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday theme. And so I want this to be Monday. You can have station 1, 2, 3. You can make it an image, whatever you want that to be. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this to walk across the top. And then just edit. So now what I want to do is I'm ready to start to build my things. So I know my first group will go ahead and do just some math. So I know that I want them to work on their basic fact station. So I'm going to grab that icon, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste it here. So maybe when they're working on this, this might be, you know, flashcards that they're doing. I may have a video that I want to take them to, and then they do flashcards. So let's pretend that that's the scenario. And so I have found, let me drag this over so you can see, I just searched for math facts. And so I have not previewed this, so I hope it is appropriate. I always recommend that you preview things before you share them with your students. But I'm going to go ahead and just grab this YouTube link by copying it. And then when I get to my Canvas activity,
ready to some cool
sounds appropriate. So now I want to go ahead and link to a website this time. So then I can just paste my YouTube video there, and then that link is going to be there. Now, before you lock this, what we want to do is we want to make sure all of our groups are doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it, and you'll notice it duplicates the link as well. So I'm not having to recreate it 4 times. And so after I've made my link, I'll copy them and just kind of stagger them to make sure that every group goes where they need to go. And then I want to go ahead and lock those in place, and I'll have to lock them individually. Once it's locked, you'll notice that duplicate option goes away. And so if I forget to do that, I can always unlock it and then be able to duplicate. So then you're just kind of building the board as you see fit. And so that was an example of how to get a link from an external source. If I know that I want them to do specific technology, and that is a link to Imagine Math, which is something that they use, I could use this icon, or I can search for an icon. So let's go ahead and search for Imagine Math icon on Google. So I have the image. Okay, so again, I'm just going to take my snipping tool and copy that. And so I go back to my activity, and then I'm going to paste that. And so maybe I need my students to log in, to be able to log into ReadyHub. And so then now that's the link that I'm going to put here. So I'm going to open up a new tab and go to ReadyHub. And so it's just going to prompt students to be able to sign in to their page. So I'm going to copy that link and then link to my website, and then press save. And so then we would duplicate that as many times as we need to, and then put that here. Okay. And so the next one we want to do is the teacher-led station. And so sometimes your teacher-led station is just them coming to you, and there may not be something that they're actually doing in Seesaw. But I'm also going to show you how you could use Seesaw as part of your teacher-led station. So let's go ahead and we'll grab our icon to fill in our chart. So I'm going to grab this, go to my page, and then we'll start by pasting that in. And so I want them to do something with me in Seesaw. And so what I'm going to do is, for this teacher-led, my link is going to be to page 3, because that's where that placeholder is. And then I would duplicate that so it copies nicely. They go to your ready. So that, yes, so that would be you're correct, Deborah. That would go to my Ready Hub. So we would have to have teachers or students be able to sign in to theirs. My password is just saved. So you could just link to the sign-in page where my password automatically comes up, but you could just go through Garland ISD and click on Ready Hub to where it's blank every time. That way they can just put their password in. All right. And so now when I click on my teacher led, it's going to help me go to page 3. And so for this activity, let's say I'm doing specific math problems and I want them, we're going to do some together, and then just a quick check for understanding. There's 3 of them that I'm going to put in front of them, but I want them to solve it on Seesaw using some of the tools. So I'm just going to quickly build kind of a 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use my shapes. So this will be their workspace for the first thing, or if I'm doing reading, I might have them, create an audio or a video that goes with the reading for them to explain, the main idea or the character traits of the person that we read. And so I'm just going to quickly do a 1, 2, 3, and then drag this. So duplicate that. 2, 3. So the good thing about using Seesaw is once you've created a template, you can always make new copies and then just have everything that you have previously created and then make edits along the way. And so after students do the activity, they'll need to return home. And so we'll grab our return home icon. And put it on our teacher-led page in the same place that we have been. And then we want to link back to page 1. And then I will lock that. And then I would lock these 2. And so once students have this, I can also give them voice instructions for this particular shape. So if I'm working, let's say Minnie has done the part that I needed to do with her, and now I want her to go ahead and move on to her independent practice as I'm working with Mickey and Donald. So I can leave voice instructions for her to be able to know what to do. So I'm going to just record. All right, so when you get here, I want you to build the problem 5 plus 7 using your manipulatives. And then you're going to take a picture and put it in square 1. And so now there's an audio that they can click on. Sometimes things could get lost. And so a lot of times I will create just like an arrow, and I always use kind of the same color so they know, like when there's a red arrow, I know I need to click there. And so I'm going to rotate this around and then put that right under my audio so they know they want to click there first. And so then on their template, they'll be able to use the camera, take a picture, and then it goes straight here. And so a lot of the skills we'll need to teach them at the beginning of the year: how to resize an object, how to move things around, to always click on our hand when we need to move things. So there's several options that we could do in Seesaw. It's the teacher-led station. So the next part I want to show you is how we can link to another Seesaw activity. And so Seesaw has made some updates, but they have not made it quite as simple as I would prefer, but there is a possibility in the way we can do that. So let me show you that. So let me grab just the Seesaw logo. So that way when students know they're doing a Seesaw activity, we have that image. So I'm going to use my snipping tool, grab that, paste that in. We'll put it over here. All right. So in order to get another Seesaw activity, so I'm going to go back to my Seesaw library. So I'm going to go to my library. This is in another tab. And in order to get a student link, we have to assign the students the activity. And then we aren't able to edit it. So it has to be an activity that's ready to go, final, and that's what we want them to work on. And so I'm going to assign them this vocabulary game. And so I'm going to click on assign, go to my students. I want all my students to be able to get it. And then I'm going to press assign. And so when I view it in my class, the 3 dots here will allow me to get student link. And so once I click on that, I'm going to copy the link. So now I can go back to my station board. And then when I click on the 3 dots here and click the link, I'm going to put that in the web address. And then I'm going to press save. And I'm just going to double check to make sure it's going to open in another tab. And it's slowly loading. Yes, I can go back and show you the slides, how we can lock those. And so now this student will be able to click, add their response. They won't have to select who they are because this is the teacher view. It will automatically come up in their account. And then they'll be able to work through, like I showed you at the very beginning, work through and press save. And so we can create a home button. This is where the workaround's a little challenging. So I could get my home button. I would have to put it on this activity, but my station board would have to be complete, and I have to assign that in order to get the student link. So for this, I would want to just teach my students to kind of toggle back and forth. So I'm done with this activity. So now I just click over so I can see my station board. So that's something that I know Seesaw has been given feedback about. I just went through the updates as an ambassador, and I didn't see that as one of the new updates, but I did see that there was a lot of posts about that particular option. So that's kind of our workaround. We can link to it once it's a complete saved activity, but it's a little more challenging to create the home button to get them back. So it would be linking kind of between both boards, and both would have to be totally complete. And so, but I have this link to my activity, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. And then we just had a question about locking in place. So if I don't want them to move any of these once it's final, I'm going to go ahead and lock everything. And so now you can see I'm clicking and it's not going anywhere. So keep in mind, though, that students, once they get on the board, they can unlock. I've never taught any of my students to do that, but that is an option. But it's better to lock everything in place first before you send it to them. So I'm going to go ahead, because I haven't locked this one, and duplicate. Okay, and so I see that some station is missing here. It looks like my teacher led. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. And then once I feel like everything is final, then I would go back and lock everything in place. Another option is if you were to build a specific Seesaw lesson, you could always add a new page. So I'm going to just add a page here. And so let's move it up. to here. And so I could just give students instructions. I could go ahead and build the activity in here. A lot of things that are in our curriculum are already created for you. That's the benefit of going, assigning, and getting that link. But if you're creating something just from scratch, you could always build it on your station assignment and then just link to this particular activity. I'm gonna lock the slide. How to lock the slide. So just for clarification, do you mean like this template here? Is that what you're meaning by slide? You can unmute too.
Okay, what I mean is the whole slide, because my kids seem to move things around, the slides everywhere. So I was wondering if there's a way to lock the slide, like the first slide stays first, the second one stays in place.
Oh, the pages. Okay.
Yes, the pages, yes.
Gotcha. I have not seen an update on that. I can look around, but that if it was, it would be on this page here. And yeah, that can be an issue, especially with this when we're linking two pages.
Right. And they start moving things around, and then when they link to it, it won't be like in place. It'll be the wrong page.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see. I will go ahead and I'll do some digging, and let me write your name down just in case I find something to let you know.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, can we link video and Seesaw assignments to the same spot? So if you did, so you would need, you can do one link per image. And so if I wanted to do my basic facts, so let me unlock this. So if I wanted to do my basic facts, that might be the first thing that they do, and I might put a number 1 there. And then if I want them to work on another page, so maybe I just put a shape, and then inside this shape I want to put page 4. Or maybe that's what I do. I don't need the shape actually. So they know that there's actually 2 things. And then I can just link here to page 4. And then that way they have a video to watch and work to do. The other option is on page 4, I could go ahead and add a link. So I can either put a message to them or a shape, watch, or I don't even need that. If I go here and I put link, so I'm going to go back to that video that I found. Grab it. Sorry guys, I have so many tabs open, and I'm going to paste it here. And so on this page, it's going to give me the video, and I can shrink it down, move it over. I can lock that in place. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that, and then they could still do their other work on this page. And so in my rotation chart, instead of linking to the video, I would just then link to page 4. Okay, I'm going to look over my notes to make sure that I went over everything, and then we can just answer questions and allow you to kind of play around. Just one more time for anybody that came in a little late. These are some websites to help you with the snipping options if you're on a Chromebook, a PC, or a Mac. So we have lots of different technology. And we did locking images. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Or if you want to put in the chat, because I've shared a few ideas, but the power of having several people in one space, all the brain power in one room. If you want to write in the chat just some ideas of how you see this fit in your classroom, that would be great.
Shauna?
Yes, I'm going to share it right now. Go ahead.
Hey, Shauna, this is Trisha Mount. I'm a 3rd grade teacher at North Lake, and last year we didn't have like the paid version of it. We had to do the free version. Do you know if we're going to be able to get that so that we can send stuff back to the kids and stuff like that?
Oh, Martine, are you still on? Are you able to answer that? She's with Digital Learning, and they're the ones that are kind of over that. I do not have that answer.
Okay.
I know that all teachers have access to Canvas, but as of last year, it was our K2 teachers that had the access to Seesaw. And so I know that they have renewed that. Laura, is that what you've been told too as admin?
There were exceptions where because like the district bought so many teachers for our campus. And so there were a few exceptions that my admin asked me to make to add a teacher that wasn't specifically purchased for and had kids assigned. And so that's something that you could ask Jake about. But I know the expectation is pre-K 2 uses Seesaw, 3-5 uses Canvas.
Yeah, and we did use Canvas, but we used a lot of like extra practices and stuff, you know, because
it's fabulous.
Easier, a lot more manipulatives on more things in this than on some of the other stuff that we had. So
right. And I'll be there on Friday of next week. Michelle and I are going to be helping y'all with some of that stuff. So maybe we can work that out then. Our campuses are going to be together on the last day of PD next week. So we can maybe figure that out. And I can maybe help you find some other tools that might work if you can't.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Well, we are running short on time. So in the chat, I just put just the name of the session and our attendance link. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. My name's Shauna Pierce, and I'd be glad to help you. But I hope that this was a helpful session and you got some ideas to make your rotations digitally for your students. I hope all of you have a great year, and thanks for joining us.